Rob, thanks for being on the Beyond Technology podcast. Welcome today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sean.
We'll dive right into it. Tell me about your business, how you got into it.
I'm the president and owner of Maillot Homes. We build high-end custom homes here in Calgary. About the company just over 21 years ago. My background was in oil and gas, and an opportunity came up to purchase a really small custom home building company. And I've always just loved architecture, so I bought it and I kind of hung out in the vans with the project managers for a while and started there, and throughout the last 2 decades sort of stumbled through it, and here we are.
Yeah. That's great. Where do you hope to be in 10 years?
In 10 years, I think just more of the same, making sure everything's, keeping really high quality, fun stuff, meeting amazing clients. Like that's kind of the real win in the in the work. And we get to work with such a cool group of people, so it's that.
That's great. Yeah. Lots of good connections to build there.
It's super cool. I mean, it's always the people.
Yeah, that's great. Tell me about a time where tech helped you solve a problem in your business.
Yeah, this is a really good one. This relates to you a little bit. Is we recently, and construction is just like very low tech industry compared to I think a lot of other industries out there. So we recently moved a lot of our software into one project management software, and the shift was just astronomical very quickly because it was the right software. Everybody got on board very quickly. And I think a lot of it was due to the fact that the right software and technology was chosen, and it made life a lot easier.
Yeah, just
clicked. It was great. Yeah, it was so cool, and everybody got on board very quickly.
Cool. That's great. Yeah, getting the people on board is important. Right?
That's the hardest part. Yeah, I mean, change is always tough for all of us, right?
So yeah, and you're probably juggling, new projects on the new software, old projects on the old software for a bit, right?
The transition point, there's always a little bit of friction, but it kind of makes you appreciate the way you're going too, when you have that comparison right away. So that helps.
Yeah, for sure. On the flip side, tell me a time where technology created a problem.
Reverse engineer that exact same process that we just went through. Was over the years this great technology came out for file management and project management and all kinds of things. So we didn't have the ability, and a lot of this was driven by me and just my lack of knowledge in the area. Was we were kind of picking and choosing things that we were weak at and finding a specific technology to address that. And then fast forward 5 years down the road, we had 5 or 6 different pieces of technology and software that were great for their respective tasks at the time, but collectively they didn't really work together, and they created more work than what was needed. So it was interesting. And then when you find something that works all of a sudden with all those things. So there's obviously great solutions, and the key for us was finding out, does this work for the business, and do they work with each other? Because they're not always as symbiotic as you'd like them to be.
Yeah, they got to flow, and information's got to flow, and the right people need to get it when they need it, right?
Yeah, and at the time we just didn't have the foresight to kind of look to say, how does this fix larger problems? Not just, hey, there's a little issue here, and maybe this solution was overkill for that, because it doesn't work for everything.
Yeah, figure out what are the most important pieces first, and kind of work from there.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun too, but it was just rushing into little solutions instead of a large sort of process.
A bit more strategic.
Yeah.
How do you decide whether to solve a problem with people or technology?
I don't think they're two separate items. I think technology is here to kind of serve us, and I think that we, as a group, we tend to work really well together, and I'm very lucky that we have an amazing team. And what we find out is hey, where are the bottlenecks in what we're doing, and is this something we can manage through a process change, or is there some technology out there that'll make it more seamless, that'll serve everybody doing it? So I think technology in of itself is kind of a tool to help kind of facilitate and expedite a process, and there can be tiny little things. Even like Adobe has a really cool thing that'll just AI that'll just sum things up in a large, say 20-page document for you. You ask it a question and it's done. That saves you like an hour and a half of work in some cases, and it's not really a big choice. It's there and it's built in. So a lot of it's just using what's in front of our faces. and making sure we understand the input and the output. And I don't know if you remember, this is a long time ago, and I'm kind of dating myself, but the first time I got a scientific calculator in university, the really big, expensive calculators are really intimidating. Right? They're so big and so cool. And I thought they were cool. But I had a professor one day, he's like, these are great, but make sure you know what you're putting into it. Otherwise, you're going to have no idea what comes out of it. Like, it's not a magic box. And and the older you get, unfortunately, you realize there are no magic boxes. It's just, it's a better way of doing your work. And does this serve you? And if something works for you, it might not work for us, and vice versa. And so being really strategic about what it is we're looking for and understanding everyone's advice is awesome, but it may not be applicable to what we're using it for.
Yeah, for sure. And really figuring out what people don't like to do, and how do you solve that with a tool?
What's in the suck bucket? For sure. Yeah.
And then gets them on board quicker, right?
If we can eliminate the things that aren't as rewarding.
Yeah, 100%. With all the digital risks and AI out there, how do you build a culture in your team that allows them to experiment and maybe fail and feel safe doing that?
We actually have talks about this weekly, monthly, and it's, hey, does anyone have a cool idea of things you've tried out? Let's use, like, ChatGPT is a big one. Use whatever you like, see what works, see what doesn't work, but let's kind of use things independently before we sort of unleash them on the whole company and specifically for clients, right? I mean, we need multi-year testing before it goes out past the organization. But we really encourage it, and I think people find out what specifically works for their own tasks. There's never just sort of a one-size-fits-all solution, but it's super fun because a lot of it depends on each individual too, and how they interact with the tech.
Yeah, and they can get to know it, and then they can share, and they can empower their other teammates, right? And
there's nothing more exciting than somebody coming into a room and being like, hey, look what I learned. This is so cool, right? And it's infectious very quickly.
For sure.
So we like to focus on that part of it.
Yeah.
And thankfully now costs have really dropped in a lot of those spaces. So.
Yeah, that's like technology. The costs are always coming down, and that's great. It democratizes the access to all the tools, right? And then it's just really how you use them. Right.
It's super cool. And I find the older I get, the more I appreciate it when we have younger team members and they come up with just the coolest stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, just things you wouldn't think of, right? And I think that's having those diverse perspectives and then getting creative too. It's interesting. I look at technology, and it's like one of the things where you can solve a problem 10 different ways, and it's like up to the human to be creative and figure out the right one.
And what's right for you, and what's the outcome that you want, and does it work with your values and with the people that you're with?
Yeah.
And does it serve your customers?
Yeah. At the end of the day, they're paying your bills and keeping you alive.
They come first, right? And we always need to make sure, no matter what product or process or technology we implement, is how is it serving them?
Yeah.
And what's their benefit?
Yeah. When it comes to leadership, how do you think technology affects that? Do you think it makes it easier or harder to be a leader?
I think it makes it easier because, especially, we talked about the cost of it coming down. I think allowing people, we have the right team in place and great people that want to do really cool stuff. When you allow people the freedom just to kind of pick and choose what they want to do, they'll come back with the most amazing examples of solutions that you've ever seen. And I think generation gaps become widened now because of this technology. Like, somebody who's maybe 20 years younger than me has this killer solution, and it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing when people come in and they're just the light on their faces. Like, look what I did. It's great, and to be able to encourage that, right?
For sure.
It's awesome.
You must see the other side of that though too, like the people in construction that don't want to change and don't want to use the tools. Like, how does your leadership? How do you be a leader in that case?
Yeah, that's a really good. It always starts with, I've been doing this for X amount of years, and then why we don't want to do it. It's in that case, I think the buy-in can be a little bit harder, and I think what you can do is just find examples that relate to that individual of how it'll make their life better. Because you're right, when we're faced with change, we look at it and we're like, man, it's this. Oh, here comes Rob again with some stupid idea. It's going to be a lot of work. Totally going to suck. And sometimes they're right. In fact, a lot of times they're right. And it's just illustrating, hey, this will be a little bit easier. And to pick something that'll have a short-term outcome that maybe we can realize that day or that week, as opposed to in 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's really hard.
Yeah.
In some cases. So we need to identify that maybe sometimes people are resistant to it. And that's okay. They're allowed to be resistant.
And I think that's a bit of with technology, you can try things quick and you can move on or keep doing it. If it works great, right?
Yeah, it's not like going to the gym where you got to go for 6 months and then hope for the best.
Yeah,
With technology, it can be super fast.
You see really quickly, right?
Yeah, it's great, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah, that's great. Tell me, what's an app that you're using nowadays that you're really loving?
Ultimate Guitar. Totally not related to work, but I played bass as a teenager and I've started to get back into it. And it's just so cool because when I was a kid, we had to like wait for the latest Guitar World magazine to come out that had all the tabs in it, and you hoped it was like a song you liked. Now it's like every song ever written, and you can isolate the respective instruments and learn. It's really cool, man. Like it's really increased my ability to memorize songs, not necessarily learn to be musical, but it's fun.
It makes it funner.
It's so good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Cool. If people wanted to get a hold of you, learn how to get a beautiful house built, how would they get a hold of you?
They can call me. My cell phone's on all of our banners. Sometimes great idea, sometimes not such a great idea. Our Instagram account, or drop by and have a coffee at the office.
Perfect. Check out Maillot Homes. Thanks for coming on, Rob. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Sean.